New York City in the 1800s wasn't just a city, it was an experiment. It was a place where fortunes were made overnight and lives were lost just as quickly. By the mid-1800s, it was the fastest-growing city in the world, a chaotic, muddy, loud metropolis fueled by coal smoke, ambition, and the relentless arrival of thousands of immigrants every single week. It was a tale of two cities, the opulent mansions of Broadway and the deadly crowded alleys of the Five Points. For the average immigrant arriving at Castle Garden, the American dream was often found in a tenement. These were windowless, airless death traps, where entire families shared a single room. There was no running water, no sanitation, and disease spread like wildfire. We know the truth of these conditions thanks to Jacob Riis, a police reporter who walked the dark alleys with his camera. His work, How the Other Half Lives, ripped the veil off the city's facade, forcing the wealthy elite to confront the reality that their prosperity was built on the backs of those starving in the shadows. In this chaos, the political machine known as Tammany Hall thrived. To the elite, it was a corrupt organization stealing public funds. But to the immigrant living in a tenement, Tammany was often the only social safety net that existed. If you needed a job, coal for the winter, or legal help, you went to the local ward boss. In exchange, you gave them your vote. It was a system built on honest graft, where the city was governed not by law but by influence and favors. Yet, despite the squalor, New York was dreaming big. The 19th century was the era of the bridge. When the Brooklyn Bridge opened in 1883, it wasn't just a crossing, it was a miracle of steel and stone. Built against the odds, after the lead engineer was incapacitated and his wife, Emily Roebling, famously took over the project, the bridge became a symbol. It proved that despite the filth, the disease, and the corruption, New York was destined to become the capital of the modern world. If you want to know what this city was really made of, look at the Great Blizzard of 1888. A freak storm dumped up to 50 inches of snow, burying the city. Telegraph wires snapped, the elevated trains froze in their tracks, and New York was completely cut off from the world. For 3 days, the city that never sleeps was forced to stop. When the snow finally cleared, the city had changed. It realized it needed better infrastructure, burying its power lines and preparing for the urban giant it was destined to become. The 1800s in New York were brutal, unfair, and exhausting. But they were also the foundation. Every skyscraper, every subway line, and every street in the modern city rests on the labor, the struggles, and the resilience of those who lived through that century. New York wasn't built in a day. It was forged in the fire of the 1800s.